I've done fighting, I've done bodybuilding, I've done basketball, long distance running, I've done all sorts of stuff. I was a soldier, you know, you gotta be your whole body. And another thing that I noticed is anytime my one arm got hurt, the other arm would just like instantly get stronger. Right? That level of pressure that you can give yourself, it's very addictive. And it's hard to get. It's hard to get that. And I was given an opportunity to have that. Shot at the world title against a guy who, the thing that's really nice is when you don't know that you can win. You know, I legit, I'm probably the underdog in most people's books. I have been I have been the world champion before. I had surgery. Yep. I've come back. This is in 2017. I made the decision to chase the open weight world title again. So, you know, it's 3-4 years later, and this will, dude, like, you gotta come to Dubai and be my corner. Come and party with us.
This is going down to Dubai.
Yeah, come.
Oh
come.
My gosh.
We'll take care of you.
I love this.
Yeah.
I think this is the most badass thing. And I know that I wanted to get you on and show the fans what's coming up, because I want to keep talking about this over the next couple of weeks going into this thing. And I just I'm pumped for. I feel like I'm doing this with you.
Yeah.
So it's pretty darn exciting for me to see you do this. Question for you.
Yeah.
Question for you. How has the training changed now that you are? Listen, you're going. This is it. This is the shot at the title. This is the big one. How different is your training now than when you were 25?
It's a constant evolution for me. The lifestyle that I've chosen has been very hard. I've had a lot of injuries throughout my career that have forced me to kind of adapt and continue to kind of rebuild myself. And, you know, I'm a lover of fitness. Okay. Love it. It's probably the #1 passion I have in my life. And I'm always trying to learn. And I've gotten to a point where I don't want to seem arrogant, because there's so many people who know way more than me. But a lot of what I do is experimental. Okay. So, you know, I take what I know, I keep that as my base. And most of what I've been doing for quite a while is I kind of play with stuff. There's a very interesting experiment that I've done for the last year and a half, which flies right into the face of 90% of what we know as fitness athletes. It has taught me so much. We have a very interesting phenomenon in the sport of arm wrestling. Arm wrestling attracts a certain type of freak. Okay. All right. One of the freaks, now there's a few freaks that come in. And when I say freak, I mean like people that are special, like people with like potentially a disorder, but the disorder lends itself very well to the sport. One of the types of people that come in and do very well are these kind of one-armed people. And what I mean by one-armed people is they have very different size arms. I don't know if you've seen them.
I have.
Yeah, so that they'll have like one arm that's just super jacked, and the other base, and it's not just the one arm. It's like, and the rest of their body is relatively normal. Yeah, and you know, there's a few different reasons why this happens, but one of the reasons why it happens is they have a blood flow disorder. Okay, so it's basically from the time of birth, the way that the blood pumps through their bodies is the one side just gets way more circulation. So I started to play with these theories, and another thing that I noticed is anytime my one arm got hurt, the other arm would just like instantly get stronger. anyways, so about a year and a half ago, I went down this path and I called it the way of the giant pumpkin. You know about pumpkins? You know about growing giant pumpkins?
Tell me.
Okay, so you pinch off all the flowers on the vine except for one. So for the last year and a half, I have only trained my right arm for arm wrestling. I am more specialized than I have ever been in my entire life. And now I'm a guy who's done, like, I've done fighting, I've done bodybuilding, I've done basketball, long distance running, I've done all sorts of stuff.
Right.
I was a soldier, you know, you got to be your whole body. But I realized that there's something to this circulation and focus of like just directing nutrients just to one part. And it's been, and this will be, so in 2 weeks, this will be the unfolding of this experiment. Yeah.
Let me jump back for everybody that's listening to this today, because you said a couple things. First of all, you basically mimicked Bruce Lee. You took a little bit from the champions, and then you kept what worked, you got rid of what didn't, and then you made some special decisions for yourself, your unique self. And so I love that aspect. And that comes, so if the kids don't get this, well, how do you get that? That's being in the trenches. That's being in the grind. That's doing it over a long period of time. It's not something you're 19 and you go, oh, I know how to do all this and I can adapt to it all. That's years and years and years. And something else I love that you said is you talked about the pumpkin and about, let's focus on this. Well, that goes back to my philosophy about training. It's like in today's day and age, and I wish I could tell my young self, and I'm going to tell everybody here right now, what he just talked about is pinpointing what he needs to make the most powerful and let the rest basically relax. And I don't understand why bodybuilders or kids that, and I wish I had done that. If you got great quads, relax, focus on the hamstrings. You got great triceps, focus on the bicep. Your body can only regenerate and feed so much. And if you're trying to do everything and you already have some things that are good, and I'm talking about bodybuilding, is let those things relax a bit and focus on the others. You'll come back around to the genetics. So what you just did is you took your one arm to another level. At any time, you can just balance it back out. But you need this up here. You need it to be peaked here. And to do that, you had to break this down here or not even worry about this as much compared to where this was going for you. And even if that's 1% better than you've ever been, that's the 1% you needed.
Yeah. Really interesting, though. You know, you have a hypothesis, you know, you think it's going to go a certain way, and there's always stuff that is unexpected. To me, the biggest shock, now I think it's good. Like, I really do think that my right has measurably grown, which is something that really hasn't happened really for most of my career. So that's interesting. I have gotten actual muscle growth out of this process.
So what you're saying is you're going to pop the top.
What's that? Pop the top?
You're going to pop the top. You're going to pop the top.
It's going to all come off. And they're going to be like, you're the most lopsided dude ever. Put the top back, put the top back on. Put the top back on. No, I'll leave that to you, Mike. I'll leave that to you. It's interesting, though. My left is what actually surprised me the most. Yeah, that was the weirdest thing, because, you know, you train so hard your whole life.
Yeah.
You know, I think anybody like us who trains their whole life, you know, there's some kind of overflow that goes on. Like, the rest of my body did not deteriorate.
Yeah.
And that's what I was expecting. I was expecting a total deterioration and I was okay with that. Yeah.
No, I know you were mentally set for that.
Yeah, I was.
It was about the one aspect, but I think what I love to hear is because you're forcing this to go one level, the rest is still flexing. The rest is still growing. The rest it's getting rest and it's still flexing through things.
Yeah.
It's still doing it. So it doesn't atrophy. I don't know why people think if you don't train your arms, they atrophy away. Well, Not if you're eating right. Not
Right.
if you're resting and doing a little bit of work. It doesn't go anywhere. Now, if you want it to get better, sure, you got to train it more. But it's one of those aspects. My girl trains twice a week and looks like a freak.
Yeah.
And people are like, wait a minute, she's 45 and she's had a kid. Why does she look like a freak? Because she eats right.
Yeah.
You know, it's so I love to hear that you took this to a level, but it didn't leave this behind.
It's so
It brought it up with.
Yeah, because I really was expecting there to be quite a fall away, and it's almost like the right side brought it up in a weird way as well. It's so weird. Like that's the most fascinating thing about the whole experiment to me is what happened on the side I wasn't working. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to talk about that and write about that because it's again, I think it's the philosophy of you can train and you're trying to give your body so much to the right and you're trying to recover, you're trying to build it, you're training like a freak. But your left is going to get benefit from that because it's going with you.
Yeah.
It's not like it's attached. It didn't like go sit on the couch and play Nintendo all day like these guys over here do all day. But you know, and I said Nintendo, just so you got that. The old guy said Nintendo. So I think that's just athletically, I think people are gonna, even if they don't arm wrestle or bodybuild, to understand the philosophy is if you're taking something, your body comes with the rest of the body comes with it and stuff. And I think that's a cool thing. It's like kids with scoliosis or something or cerebral palsy. Their body goes into a certain position, but that certain position for them is strong.
Yeah.
They keep getting stronger, even if they're in that weak position. And so it's cool that your other side came up.
Yeah. Yeah. Really neat experiment. So
I gotta jump into something that has nothing to do with arm wrestling. It has to do with character and appreciation from me. Special forces. You did military. Went up to master corporal.
That's actually, yeah, I put in a memo to never advance. So master corporal is nothing spectacular. Master corporal actually is the unit that I work with. That's the base rank, but I did my very best to stay there. Yeah, I didn't want to go in. All I ever wanted to do was be a fighter. That's it.
But you did do 7 tours.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. It was a great time. I'll tell you, I'm so honored to have gotten to be a part of all that. What a great group of people, you know, to be in a group where just always felt safe, no matter what. You know, I always knew that.
You're the most wow, hold on. Don't jump over that. You're in a very Afghanistan, not a safe place. And you felt safe because of the crew you were with. I
always felt like I was with the most capable people that I knew. You know, I always felt like as confident that I was, I had more confidence in the guys next to me than I did in myself. I was really lucky. I got to work with a really great organization. War is messy and confusing, you know, but what a great experience. And if anybody ever has the ambition to, you know, join the military and do those kind of things to get to, you know, the pointy end of the spear, there's nowhere better. There's nowhere better. Yeah.
Well, first off, for me, it's I've done a lot of USO tours just because I try to give back in some capacity, so I appreciate what you did. But what you said was kind of a metaphor to me. It is because you just said in Afghanistan with the people you were with, you felt very safe. Holy shnikes! There's people that don't feel safe in their own house. I mean, I know that's a whole other talk and a whole other thing. We can go forever on that, but that's an amazing thing to be in that group. And I wish more people would be in that group wherever they're at. Mostly going through what we're going through with this craziness that the world's going through right now. To me, that was a beautiful statement because that just says so much to who you were with and how they made you feel. that you could even feel that way.
Yeah. Well, anybody who gets to that position, they're not there for the money. They're not.
No.
They're there for a sense of service that is going to far surpass anything financial or make them be in any way, you know, untrustworthy. So
I did some interviews with SEAL Team 6, like Don Rosso and these guys, and the reason or the mindset that they have and you have is such an elite. It's just an elite mindset, but it's also an elite appreciation to be able to do something at that level and do it for the love of what you're trying to keep safe. It's an amazing thing to me. So